Hello and welcome to ForestsideWriting,
the channel where we celebrate the beauty of writing.
Welcome to our first video.
Here we will check out all kinds of writing instruments.
We will check out interesting vintage and antique writing instruments ranging from pens, pencils, fountain pens, calligraphy, and even more.
Before we start our video, let's tell you a little bit about us.
We are both avid stationery enthusiasts, and we love all kinds of vintage and collectible stationery. We just love the sheer beauty and the stories that pens can tell. Just like a time machine. Just such beauty of vintage. Get to read all that. Ones. It just tells such a tale of the past. Don't you agree? Isn't that just amazing?
Absolutely.
And you guys will understand. You guys might think we're crazy right now by what we're saying. But trust us, as you watch our videos more and more, you'll get the feel too. Without any further ado, should we get started with our video?
Absolutely.
Okay. So today, for our first ever video, we are going to be checking out a random lot of vintage antique pen and pencil finds. So let's go ahead and open these up. Now I do have some paper here. We're going to see if these write. I think it'd be best if we just open these up and put them on the table, right? Okay. And I'm already dropping them, if I can get them out. So, let's go ahead and get started. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of vintage pens and pencils here. What do you think about these?
They're looking pretty good to me. I'm very curious.
Yeah. Wow, look at them. A lot of them look quite unique as well.
Yes.
Now, I did do some research before the video, and it said some of these could be as old as 1910. Over 120 years old. So, where should we even start? I mean, look at these. They're such a variety. This one looks a little bit newer. A lot of them look older. As you see, there are a lot of pencils in here as well. Yeah. That bullet pencil is really catching my eye. You know, that's going to be an oldie. I'm just going to look away and pick a random one. Okay, so our first one so far, this is Jesse Ziegler from Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. Plumbing and hardware. Now, this is an old one. Look at how it's green painted there. Look at that gold ferrule and that eraser. Hard as a rock. But truth is, let's see how this vintage pencil writes. Now, the beauty of pencils is, you know, they're always going to write, no matter how old they are, as long as they're nicely sharpened. And it looks like this one was sharpened with actually a sharpener. You see, it's sharpened well. So, just so you guys know, for this channel, we are going to separate our beautiful writing instruments based off of how they work or not. So this one works. So we call it a yes. And it's going to be put on the left of our screen. Say we try this one out and it doesn't work. It's going to get put on the right side of our screen. Okay. Now we can continue. As you see, this one here looks a little bit newer. I like the, what is that, marble? Like a marble-ish design.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It says 2nd Street Securities, 12 Bank Street, Summit, New Jersey. So it has an 800 number and a 908, which is their area code. And I really like how it looks in your hand. Yeah, it is a nice one. So unfortunately, this one does not work. I am unaware of the age of... Well, it's kind of coming back. See that?
A little bit.
Not enough to make it a yes, though. No. So it's going to go on the right of our screen, indicating that it doesn't write. And at the end, we'll pan out to show how much wrote and how much didn't. So we are avid pen collectors. We love looking at vintage writing instruments of all ages. And we can't wait to go ahead and check these out. Now, this says Chapel, Oldsmobile, and AMC. Now, they don't even make Oldsmobile or AMC anymore. What do you think about that?
I think it has to be pretty old.
Yeah. Now, this is from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Now, a lot of these are from Pennsylvania. This one is unsharpened. Nice ferrule there. Old eraser. Yeah. If it's not sharpened, it's brand new, so we mark it a yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this one says, Milk's the One, your York County Dairy Princess. Make a cow happy. Drink milk. So, as you can see here, it has a nice ferrule there. Oh, that eraser is even harder. Yeah. Again, great condition. Unsharpened lettering is very nice. So that makes it a yes. Now, if any of you guys know any information, say you're local of the town of any of these, please share it. Drop us a comment so we can learn more about the history, get an approximate age. This one is yellow. This one says W.R. Burns and Son, Heating and Plumbing. This is Hanover, Pennsylvania. So look at that eraser, completely discolored, not pink anymore. Now that's an even older one. Not sharpened, so you can make that one a yes. This one is Luckenbaugh's Chevrolet Company. Oh, so Chevy. Spring Grove, PA. Nice gold ferrule. Now, I think at one point that eraser was probably pink. Now it's like brownish. Yeah, very hard. Very hard. Not sharpened, so perfect. Now, pretty much pencils are, for the most part, always going to be a yes, because you can always sharpen them. This one, this is a Koosh pen. What do you think of this one?
I think it's adorable.
Now, these were big in the 1990s, as you could tell, all the colors. Nice little fluffy ball there on the top.
Koosh ball.
Koosh ball, yes. Nice orange pocket clip. I just love how colorful everything was. You know, if you look at 90s instruments, everything was just so colorful. So that's what's really cool about this one. I guess you could just push on the little ball on the top and the pen clicks out. It has a little bit of weight to it because of the top, but you do want weight. Pens need weight to them for nice handwriting. Now this one wants to write. I just saw a little bit of ink come out. Now I'm going to, let's see. Oh, it's going. Some of these you just have to really scribble with. This is from the 90s. And it's kind of writing enough so you could make my handwriting legible there. So I'd say this is a definite yes. Good job. I really love that one's design. Okay, this one is, oh my goodness, this one is very unique looking. Okay, now I know exactly what this one is. When I first saw this coming out of the package, when I first got the lot, I had no idea what it was, right? None of us can figure it out. So you know what this is? This is actually due to the ribbon. As you can see, it has no eraser, just this silvery top, no eraser on there, metal. Very skinny too. Look at it compared to my hands. Very skinny, yeah. Now, the ribbon is almost the pencil's length, but a little bit longer. Now, would you guys like to know what this is? This is actually a secure pencil, they called them. And these were used by clerks, merchants, banks, mainly in banks, you know, I mean, even nowadays you still find some chained pens. So this one is meant to be secure. And trust me, in all my years of collecting, all of our years of collecting, we've seen tons of pens that are from banks. You know, we know chained pens are a thing. But this one is so weird how it's got a ribbon. And after research, this pencil is about, could be as old as 100 years old. Still writes like a charm, though. All right, so now let's see what we have next. Since that vintage one here writes, it's an automatic yes. I can't believe it. It's over. It could be 100 years old. Still could work today. This says, it's busted in half. Now, when I first got the lot, I tried to just kind of put it back, and I received it broken. No, I was not the one who broke this. So, but it'll stay temporarily. We can get some. Glue. This says King Syrup, King Liquid Laundry Starch, King Powdered Laundry Bleach, Harold Company, Baltimore, Maryland. This is an old one. Old. This looks pretty old. Yeah. What do you think? The laundry starch. You ever hear something like that?
Yeah, the starch. It used to put it on clothing while you're ironing it, and it made it kind of stiff.
See, I never heard of that. Yeah. And I've seen irons. You know, we use it. Yeah, they don't. Yeah. So really cool. I love like the analog stuff, especially these pens, pencils. Look at that. That's a very unique ferrule. See, it's like weird shaped. So I like this pencil is bending on me. So after we come off camera, I think we better get ourselves some glue so we can display it nicely in our collection. Now, here's the one we've all been waiting for. A bullet pencil. Now, these are called bullet pencils, and these were huge in anywhere from the 40s is when they started to disappear. And I think they first started around the 1910s. Wow. So, and what gives us a narrower date of this pencil is by looking at the advertising. We'll get to the cosmetic part later, but let's see what the writing part says. For barrels, crates, and baskets, call B.E. Martin. Phones 2304 and number 234. No number sign, no area code. Very short. Mount Olive, North Carolina. Now, here's the one indicator how old this is. Let us gin your cotton. Now, look at that gold ferrule there. Now, my favorite part, the hardness test of this eraser. All right. So is there anything you'd like to add? Do you know much about how old this one could be, about the cotton gin part?
Well, I think the sure sign that it's old is that the phone number is a party line.
That's a party line. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So they still had phones at the time this was made. So according to my research, it says it's circa, Gen Circa, from 1910s to the late 30s is when we have a guess. When did like phones like mainly become out? Because that can also help us that phones were still a thing.
No, we have to
I know it was
Alexander Graham Bell.
Yes, that's that's definitely a thing. I'd say probably 1800s, mid to late 1800s. So they were still a thing even in 1910. So it could be as old as that.
Definitely.
So what we can say is, I believe that this is probably the oldest pencil in the group. Yes?
I've never seen one like that.
Yeah. So let me show you guys how this is used. It's kind of like a paper. So you see it's kind of peeling. That's how you know the advertising back then was not really the best. Because, you know, it's kind of like paper wrapping. You have all that. You know, printing was definitely still a thing, but it wasn't as modernized as it is now. So you know how to open a bullet pencil is you just take the little end here. Now it looks like a bullet. So I guess that's why it's called a bullet pencil. It's where it gets the name. And we just pull this out. Look, we have a pencil on the inside. And now it just clips back in. And now we can go ahead and write. Holy cow. Still works. And it still amazes me. But it shouldn't, because pencils don't dry out, unlike ink does in a pen. But it's just so crazy that I'm using something that could be over 100 years old. Yeah. It's just amazing.
It has to be over 100 years old.
You think? Wow. So look at that. See, it's just kind of like a pen. It just caps back in. You know what? This is also a fun thing we can do. Let's try out the eraser and see if it still does anything. I think it'll just smear.
Yeah.
It doesn't even it doesn't even smear anything. It does nothing. Wow, but this is so cool. Wow, so these are mainly made like, you know, you could just put them in your coat pocket, you know, work coats people mainly use. You just fit it right in there. And you see, this is called the nose, the end piece there, because that's where I call it the cap because I'm used to pens, but it's technically called the nose. It contains a short local phone number, party line, like you said. So that's another indication of its age. It is pre-World War II. Would you believe that?
Yep. Oh, I believe it.
Yeah. So that's what my research said. And we believe this one is likely from the 20s to 30s. That's probably the exact age of this one. But if anybody knows, please share. Very interesting. Okay. Now next on our list, we have, look at this fat pencil. This one's very fat, chubby compared to the other one. We'll move this out of the way for now. But this one is an orange Dairy Aid 33. It says it on both sides there, as you can see. Now this one is really cool. Now let's read what it says. Wow, we got a lot of info packed on this pencil. No wonder why they had to make it nice and thick. All right. Where does it even begin? Look at this. Dairy Aid 33 Vigapack. Only Mutual Products Company offers you your choice of 3 quality milk replacements, so milk substitutes, each recommended and distributed exclusively by milk plants everywhere. Guaranteed to satisfy or your money back. What does it say? Route 1, Minneapolis, USA. Wow. And it says it on both sides there. Now let's see what research says so we can get an exact age on this. Now, we are enthusiasts, but I've never seen them this old before in our collection. And trust me, we've seen a lot. We've been doing pens for years. However, this is our first video. We love pens. We love learning history through them. And we know that's hard. You know that must be hard to believe. If you say that to someone, say, oh, I learned history based off of the pencil I write with. But it's true, especially if you can use one from the 50s, 60s. And, you know, they're very rare, but when you come across them, they're amazing. We have so much fun. We've been doing pens for years. However, this is our first public video. So we hope everybody likes this. So far, here's our research of the Dairy Aid. So it was a milk feed supplement brand, usually promoted to farmers. The pencil's lettering, so you see the advertising in the big letters, Dairy Aid 33, represents a tactic of the 30s to 40s agricultural advertising. So this is very old. These promotional pencils were commonly given out at feed stores and co-ops. So, wow, this is amazing. And how can you tell? It has no eraser. It didn't break off. It never came with an eraser. That's another way you can tell how old it is. So with our educated guess, that's what we'd say about how old it is. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I've never seen a product like that that they're advertising.
Because it's so old. Yeah, agricultural, yeah. Wow. So would you agree with that age range that we said?
Yes,
I would. Yeah. That's amazing. It's a yes, because it's unsharpened. Yeah. And we don't plan on sharpening any of these, by the way. Don't think we're any of those where we're like, oh, we got to use these. We are not going to use them. We're going to stay in our little collection here. This is this is a branded one. I like the branded ones too, because I can also give you about how old they are. You know, if they stop making them, we could look it up. This is USCO Electro Bonded Lead, U.S. Pencil Company, New York City, USA, number 2 2/4. So this one has a very precise measurement. Now, look at that. And look at that ferrule. Wow, the gold. And this eraser was not pink like you'd expect. This one looks like it was once green. See that? Green eraser. Very hard. I'm not going to do a writing test because it's not sharpened, and I don't plan on sharpening this thing. And I dropped it, of course. But, wow, this is very nice. Now, I have seen this brand before in our world of vintage pen and pencils. They make pens, too, especially promotional ones. Would you say this one's probably about as old as the rest? I'd say the youngest, probably 50s for this one.
I would think, yeah.
Somewhere around then.
Yeah.
Automatic, yes, because it's not sharpened. Okay. I have just these to do for the conclusion of our video. Okay. We're going to save this for last. These are pens and a pencil. It's interesting. These are brand spanking new. Look, right there, brand new in their original box. I don't think anybody even opened this. Still has the original shipping tape or tape on there. Okay, this one, let's say, oh my gosh, this is hard to read. You guys will not be able to see this, but it says Carnes Window Decoration and Service. Look at that ferrule. Again, it kind of looks the same as one we just saw a few minutes ago. Just like this Oldsmobile one. Very interesting. Could be made by the same companies, but I'll bet back then, with the printing, there's probably only a few of them. Oh, that's a hard eraser. That's how you can tell how old these are. And the lettering is very hard to see. I promise you it's there, but it's just very hard to see, so it is worn. Automatic, yes, because it is unsharpened. Just like we said in the beginning of the video. If you have any details, say you're local of this town that these are from, please share us details. We're here to learn, So let's go ahead and finish up our last few here. This is a red one. I like the little art design on there. It looks like a baker, right? Wait, is it a baker? Oh, yeah, bread. So, yeah, it must be a baker clip art. Hauswald's Wholesome Soft Twist Bread. See how they wrote it there? Figurative language. Look at that. Yeah. Soft dash twist bread. Yeah. We should definitely look these up. Yes. We have to. I'll definitely provide information on the screen about these pens and pencils. Especially the ones noteworthy. I'll put some info on the side of the screen for you guys to read. Because at the time, we don't even know all the details of some of this. And we're never probably going to know all the details of some of this. That's why we rely on you. If you know anything about these, their age, anything, let us know in the comments. As you see, we'll give you guys a little good look. Looks like a blue on red print. Look at that. Nice baker there. Happy face. Nice ferrule. Oh, I know how hard this eraser. That's an old one. Okay. Now our last 3 packages here. Very disheartening. Only one no. Darn it. That one here, this one probably looks like it's from the 90s. This one looks newer. 90s or 2000s-ish. This one says Red Rose, John W. Ellman. I think that's how it says. It's kind of hard to read with that fancy script there. And Sons, established in 1842. So they're an old business. It could be anywhere from 1842 and on. Guaranteed fees, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, York, Pennsylvania, Circleville, O, Tampa, Florida, and Sanford, North Carolina. Wow. Guaranteed fees. So they have a lot of locations. That's the hardest one, I think, so far. Now, very nice. I love old pencils. Yeah. Just the smell of the wood. You can just get the smell of the wood from them. Very nice. If anybody knows any details, please share. Yeah. Okay. Now, here's our last pencil, and then we're going to get into this new package, which I saved for last because it does seem very interesting. Pillsbury Bakery Flowers. Ooh. So is that the same one as the Pillsbury Dome? Right? Same brand. Yeah, they make butter and all that delicious desserts, cinnamon rolls, all that delicious desserts and food items. Yeah? Can you give me an exact age?
Oh, I don't know, but that's old. I can tell. the company is very
The company
old,
is.
and the pencil looks old.
Yeah. The eraser confirms.
Yeah.
Huh, look at that ferrule. Wow. What do you think? Very
I think
nice.
it's a nice pen.
Cool.
I'd like to see the history on that one.
Yeah, so if somebody knows the exact age of that, please share. Again, please share. Last but certainly not least, we save this. Oh, this is old. Look at the dust on the top. Wow. This is, I can open it. Wait, they must have opened it and taped it, I think. Holy cow, look at that. Has a little bit of something on there I don't really want to touch. Holy cow. Thanks and congratulations for a safe 1955.
Whoa.
PR Graffler Company.
Wow.
And it has a little placard there on the pocket clip. Green Cross for safety.
Wow.
So this is from the Green Cross. Now we have another pen.
70 years old.
70 years old. That's amazing. PH Graffelter Company. You see the same advertising. They must have gave these out together. Look at that.
Look at that.
No other information on the box, but if anybody can give us any info, value, anything, info about the company, their owners, anything, please share. Now, I doubt that this one looks like a pencil. That's like a lead pencil. This one is a pen. The pen is probably dried out, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, mark them a yes, because they are so new and very collectible. So before we end, quick discussion. What do you think, this is one of my favorite parts of looking through vintage lots. What do you think we can infer about the original owner of these? Let's put them in the center so everybody can see all the pens. So like I said, check it out. It's very confusing because we have something as old as this and something as 90s as this one. And this is our only no, all these are yes, but this one just must have dry ink. But anyways, this one's probably 90s or 2000s. Yeah. It's pretty new compared to the rest of them. So what I'm saying is this person was probably born like the 1910s, 1900, and they have pens from the 90s. That's just crazy. It could have been generations.
Probably a generation or two.
That's what I would like to think. I can't see, 95, probably a better chance of being sons, kids, daughters. So I did do some things here. Based off of all we can do here about the original owner is make careful, non-personal guesses based off of the objects here that we see in our group. So they were probably a practical working class person. Most of the items are free giveaways, just like this one, given away at feed centers, given away at this place from the 90s. Free giveaways, just like you get a free pen at a bank. That's probably where the rest of these are from. However, this one is bought as it's a branded one. Koosh, it's a little funny novelty. So that's a funny one there. I'm glad all these still wrote. The pencils, they'll never dry up, so that's always amazing. You can use a 100-year-old pencil if you wanted to. But we don't. We're going to keep these displayed in our collection. Now, they were likely connected to rural commerce, being that there was a cotton gin pencil, a dairy-aid livestock feed, and hardware. We saw a whole bunch of hardware advertising. They appeared to be from a small town in the southern U.S. or even Pennsylvania. As you can see, we saw a lot from Pennsylvania. There's only one from North Carolina, so we can't really understand. Maybe they originated in North Carolina.
Maybe.
You never know. Okay. I'd say, like you said, this is probably at least a generation or two.
Yeah.
I don't think one person could have all these. Too much of an age difference. They were likely connected to rural commerce. Very cool. Now, southern U.S., back when everyone knew where to find each other, small towns, no area codes, party line, just like we found out. They were probably very frugal. The vintage bullet pencil's still there. They didn't throw anything away. And with the vintage bullet pencil, you could tell this thing was sharpened. There was no sharpeners at the time. It was sharpened with a knife. You can clearly see there. It was well used. Still have a lot left to live, but I don't plan on using that. They were very likely used daily. They were used as tools, tallying weights, writing orders, keeping accounts, jotting down notes, just like we do now. But just back then, a lot of different activities happened. They were likely kept in a coat pocket, a truck dashboard, or on a store counter. So they could have been a small business owner, too. So in short, the owner was likely a farmer, a gym worker, or a business operator that was born in the 1900s. Now let's address the fact. Now I see a pen here from the 90s, correct? We know this is from the 90s because I see these pop up online. I did the research. Now, how do the newer ones get in there? If all these are so old, from the 1930s, 20s, even older. Well, here's an example. See, the grandparent starts the collection in the 10s to the 1930s. And let's say a parent adds some of their newer stuff, like the 55 one, you know what I mean, or the 70s. or the child or grandchild drops in this 90s one. Because, you know, it still works, or you may need it. That might have been their thoughts. So it suggests long-term ownership, reuse in a space that hasn't been cleared for generations. Very cool. So thank you, everyone, for watching the first episode of Forest Side Writing. Stay tuned, as just about each week we drop a new content showing pen reviews, individual pencil and pen reviews, markers, everything good like that. So if you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe. Have a great day or night, and we will see you in the next video. Goodbye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.